Most Christians treat fasting like a diet with a prayer attached, skip a meal, read a verse, call it spiritual, but that is not what fasting is, and it is not what fasting does. What happens when you fast is not happening in your stomach. It is happening in a realm you cannot see, a realm where battles are being fought over your life, over your family, over your future. And fasting is not you going without food. Fasting is you picking up a weapon most believers never touch today. I want to show you exactly what happens in the spiritual realm when you fast, not opinion, not tradition revealed in Scripture, because once you understand what is actually happening when you fast, you will never treat it casually again. Daniel 10 is the clearest window Scripture gives us into what happens in the unseen realm during a fast. Daniel had been fasting for 21 days, no choice food, no meat, no wine, 3 weeks of mourning and seeking God, and then an angel appeared to him with a message that stopped everything he said. Do not be afraid, Daniel, since the first day that you set your mind to gain understanding and to humble yourself before God, your words were heard. I have come in response to them. Read that carefully. Since the first day, the moment Daniel began to fast, heaven responded. The answer left the throne room of God on day 1, not day 21, day 1. So why did it take 21 days to arrive? The angel explained, but the prince of the Persian kingdom resisted me 21 days. Then Michael, one of the chief princes, came to help me because I was detained there with the king of Persia. There was a spiritual battle happening between heaven and the demonic principality assigned to Persia, and that battle lasted exactly as long as Daniel's fast. The moment Daniel stopped eating and started seeking, the warfare began. And the moment the angel broke through, he came directly to Daniel. This is the first thing that happens in the spiritual realm when you fast. Angelic activity is accelerated on your behalf. You are not just skipping meals, you are creating a corridor, a channel of focused spiritual pressure that mobilizes heaven and engages the warfare surrounding your situation directly. The answer to your prayer may have already left heaven, it may be in transit right now. And your fast may be the very thing that breaks through whatever has been resisting it. The second thing that happens in the spiritual realm when you fast is that demonic strongholds begin to break. In Matthew 17, the disciples had tried to cast a demon out of a boy and failed. When they asked Jesus why he said this kind does not go out except by prayer and fasting. This kind, Jesus was making a distinction. Not all spiritual opposition is the same. Some of what you are dealing with, the pattern that keeps repeating, the bondage that will not lift the door, that will not open no matter how many times you pray, requires a different level of spiritual authority to dislodge. And fasting is what accesses that level. A man named Marcus in Atlanta had been praying for his son for 4 years. His son had walked away from faith into addiction, into a circle of people pulling him deeper into darkness. Marcus prayed daily. He attended every prayer meeting at his church. Nothing moved. His pastor suggested a 3-day fast specifically for his son. On the second day of that fast, his son called him out of nowhere, crying, saying he did not know why, but he felt like something had broken inside him and he needed help. Marcus told his congregation later with tears running down his face, "I did not know what was holding my son. But something happened in those 3 days that 4 years of regular prayer had not produced. This kind does not go out except by prayer and fasting. There are things assigned against your family, your mind, your marriage, your calling that will not move until fasting enters the equation. The third thing that happens in the spiritual realm when you fast is that your spirit becomes more sensitive to the voice of God. Isaiah 58:6 describes the fast God has chosen. Then it says this, "Then your light will break forth like the dawn, and your healing will quickly appear. Then you will call, and the Lord will answer. You will cry for help, and he will say, 'Here I am, here I am.'" That is intimacy. That is not just answered prayer. That is God saying, "I am close, I am present, I am reachable right now." Fasting quiets the noise of the flesh, and when the flesh goes quiet, the spirit goes loud. Every distraction, your body normally demands food, comfort. Stimulation goes silent during a fast. And in that silence, the frequency of heaven becomes clearer. Things you could not hear before you begin to hear directions. You were confused about begin to clarify. Decisions that felt impossible begin to settle. A young woman named Priya in Houston had been at a crossroads about her calling for over a year. 2 directions both seemed right. She had prayed endlessly, and received nothing clear. She committed to a 7-day Daniel fast. By day 4, she told her mentor, "It is like the static cleared. I know exactly what God is saying. I do not know how to explain it, except that I can hear him now in a way I could not before." Fasting does not make God speak louder. It makes you quiet enough to finally hear what he has been saying all along. The fourth thing that happens in the spiritual realm when you fast is that God moves on situations you have no natural ability to affect. 2 Chronicles 20 records one of the most remarkable moments in Israel's history. 3 armies were marching against King Jehoshaphat simultaneously. He had no military strategy that could survive it, so he did the only thing left. He called a national fast. And God responded with these words, "Do not be afraid or discouraged because of this vast army, for the battle is not yours but God's." They did not fight that battle, they worshipped. And God sent confusion among the enemy armies so complete that they destroyed each other before Israel had to raise a single sword. The fast did not just change Jehoshaphat's prayer life. It changed the outcome of the battle entirely. There are situations in your life right now that you cannot fix, relationships that are beyond your ability to restore, finances that are beyond your ability to recover, health situations that are beyond what medicine can explain, prodigals that are beyond what your love alone can reach. Fasting is not you doing more. Fasting is you stepping back so God can do what only he can do. This is why fasting is a weapon, not because of your willpower, not because God is impressed by your hunger, but because fasting is an act of total surrender that says, "I cannot handle this. I am not even going to try. I'm emptying myself so you can fill this situation with your power instead." Isaiah 58:8 says, "Then your light will rise in the darkness, and your night will become like the noonday. The Lord will guide you always. He will satisfy your needs in a sun-scorched land and will strengthen your frame." Your night will become like the noonday. That is not a small promise. That is God saying that the darkest season you are in right now can be flooded with light, not gradually, suddenly, when the conditions of surrender are met. So here is what I want to say to you directly before we close. If there is something in your life that has not moved despite years of prayer, consider fasting. If there is a relationship you cannot fix, consider fasting. If you feel distant from God and you cannot figure out why, consider fasting. If you are standing at a crossroads and you cannot hear God's direction, clearly consider fasting, not as a last resort, as a first weapon. Because the believers who understand what fasting actually does are the ones who see things move that everyone else has given up on. Daniel fasted and angelic messengers broke through enemy lines to reach him. The disciples fasted and demonic strongholds that resisted everything else finally broke. Jehoshaphat fasted, and God fought a battle that an entire nation could not win on their own. And God has not changed. Hebrews 13:8 says, "Jesus Christ is the same yesterday and today and forever. The same God who moved then is the same God who moves now, for those who seek him with their whole heart, with their whole body, with everything they have." Write in the comments right now, "I am ready to fast." That declaration is the beginning, and God will meet you there. Subscribe so we can keep going deeper together. God bless you deeply, my brother, my sister. Until next time.